Hello, I'm Maz, and I'm reading 50 Shades as bad Christopher Walken. Enjoy. He smiles, revealing perfect white teeth. I stop breathing. She doesn't die though, because he really is beautiful. No one should be this good looking. Well, to chill out, as you put it, I sail. I fly. I indulge in various physical pursuits. He shifts in his chair. I'm a very wealthy man, monsieur, and I have expensive and absorbing hobbies. I quickly glance at Kate's questions, wanting to get off this subject. You invest in manufacturing. Why, specifically? I ask. Why does he make me so uncomfortable? I like to build things. I like to know how things work, what makes me tick, how to construct and deconstruct. And I have to... And I have a love of ships. What can I say? That sounds like your heart talking rather than logic and facts. His mouth quirks up and he stares appraisingly at me. Possibly. Though there are people who'd say I don't have a heart. Why would they say that? Because they know me well. Would your friends say you're easy to get to know? And I regret the question as soon as I say it. It's not on Kate's list. Fuck me, how many more pages of chapter 1 do I have to endure? I'm a very private person, Miss Steele. I go a long way to protect my privacy. I don't often give interviews. Why did you agree to this one? Spat everywhere. Because I'm a benefactor of the university, and for all intents and purposes, I couldn't get Miss Kavanagh off my back. She badgered and badgered my PR people, and I admire that kind of tenacity. I know how tenacious Kate can be. We said that in the beginning, remember? That's why I'm sitting here squirming uncomfortably under his penetrating gaze when I should be studying for my exams. You also invest in farming technologies. Why are you so interested in that area? We can't eat money, Miss Steele. And there are too many people on this planet who don't have enough to eat. That sounds very philanthropic. That sounds very philanthropic. Is it something you feel passionate about? Feeding the world's poor? He shrugs non-committally. It's shrewd business. He murmurs, though I think he's being disingenuous. It doesn't make sense. Feeding the world's poor? I can't see the financial benefit of this, only the virtue of the ideal. I glance at the next question, confused by his attitude. I'm finding it difficult to read this shit. I hope you understand. Do you have a philosophy? If so, what is it? I don't have a philosophy as such, maybe a guiding principle. Carnegie's? A man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled. I am very singular, driven. I like control of myself and those around me. So you want to possess things, you are a control freak. That's her in italics. I'm going to do that from now on. I want to deserve to possess them. But yes, bottom line, I do. You sound like the ultimate consumer. I am. He smiles, but the smile doesn't touch his eyes. Again, this is at odds with someone who wants to feed the world, so I can't help thinking that we're talking about something else. But I'm mystified as to what it is. I swallow hard. She's going to be doing a lot of that later, I imagine. The temperature in the room is rising, or maybe it's just me. I want this interview to be over. I want this chapter to be over. Surely Kate has enough material now. I glance at the next question. You were adopted. How much do you think that's shaped the way you are? Oh, this is personal. I stare at him, hoping he is not offended. His brow furrows. I have no way of knowing. My interest is piqued. How old were you when you were adopted? That's a matter of public record, Miss Steele. His tone is stern. Crap! Yes, of course, if I'd known I was doing this interview, I would have done some research. Flustered, I move on quickly. You've had to sacrifice family life for your work. That's not a question. He is terse. Sorry, I squirm. He's made me feel like an errant child. I try again. Have you had to sacrifice family life for your work? I have a family. I have a brother and a sister and 2 loving parents. I am not interested in extending the family beyond that. Are you gay, Mr. Gray? He inhales sharply. And I cringe, mortified. Crap. Why didn't I employ some kind of filter before I read this straight out? How can I tell him I'm just reading the questions? Damn Kate and her curiosity. No, Anastasia, I'm not. He raises an eyebrow, a cool gleam in his eyes. He does not look pleased. I apologize. It's, written here. It's the first time he said my name. My heartbeat has accelerated and my cheeks are heating up again. Nervously, I tuck my loosened hair behind my ear. He cocks his head to one side. These aren't your own questions. The blood drains from my head. No, Kate, Miss Kavanagh, she compiled the questions. Are you colleagues on the student paper? Oh no, I have nothing to do with the student paper. It's her extracurricular activity, not mine. My face, it's a flame. Good God, 3 more pages. No, she's my roommate. He rubs his chin in quiet deliberation, his grey eyes appraising me. Again, because I know that word now. Did you volunteer to do this interview? He asks, his voice deadly quiet. Hang on, who's supposed to be interviewing... Hang on! Who's supposed to be interviewing whom? His eyes burn into me, and I'm compelled to answer with the truth. It was drafted. She's not well. My voice is weak and apologetic. That explains a great deal. There's a knock at the door and blonde number 2 enters. Mr. Gray, forgive me for interrupting, but your next meeting is in 2 minutes. I can't remember what her voice was, so fuck yourself. We're not finished here, Andrea. Please cancel my next meeting. Andrea hesitates, gaping at him. She appears lost. He turns his head slowly to face her and raises an eyebrow. She flusters, bright pink. Oh God, it's not just me. Oh good, even. Well, Mr. Gray, she mutters and then exits. He frowns and turns his attention back to me. Where were we, Miss Steele? Oh, we're back to Miss Steele now. Please don't let me keep you from anything. I want to know about you. I think that's only fair. His eyes are alight with curiosity. Double crap. Where's he going with this? He places his elbows on the arms of the chair and steeples his fingers in front of his mouth. His mouth is very distracting. I swallow. There's not much to know. What are your plans after you graduate? I shrug, thrown by his interest. Move to Seattle with Kate, find a job. I haven't really thought beyond my finals. I haven't made any plans, Mr. Gray. I just need to get through my final exams. Which I should be studying for right now, as I keep saying. Rather than sitting in your palatial, swanky, sterile office feeling uncomfortable under your penetrating gaze, as I keep saying. We run an excellent internship program here. He says quietly. I raise my eyebrows in surprise. Is he offering me a job? Oh, God. It's just so fucking painful. Oh, I'll bear that in mind. I murmur, confounded. Though, I'm sure I'd fit in here. Oh no, I'm musing out loud again. Why? Why do you say that? He tilts his head to one side, intrigued, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. It's obvious, isn't it? I'm uncoordinated, scruffy, and I'm not blonde. Oh, she was being sarcastic before when she said out loud that she would fit in now. Not to me. His gaze is intense, all humour gone, and strange muscles deep in my belly clench suddenly. I tear my eyes away from his scrutiny and stare blindly down at my knotted fingers. What's going on? I have to go, now. I lean forward to retrieve the recorder. Would you like to show me around? He asks. I'm sure you're far too busy, Mr. Gray. And I do have a long drive. You're driving back to Vancouver? He sounds surprised, anxious even. He glances out of the window. It's begun to rain. Well, you'd better drive carefully. His tone is stern, authoritative. Why should he care? Did you get everything you need? He adds. She asked him 4 questions, maybe? Yes, sir, I reply, packing the recorder into my backpack. His eyes narrow, speculatively. This bitch using words. Thank you for the interview, Mr. Gray. The pleasure has been all mine. He says politely as ever, even though he was a complete douche, arrogant prick before. As I rise, he stands and holds out his hand. Until we meet again, Miss Steele. And it sounds like a challenge or a threat. I'm not sure which. I frown. When will we ever meet again? I shake his hand once more, astounded that the odd current between us is still there. It must be my nerves. Mr. Gray, I nodded him, moving with lithe, athletic grace to the door. He opens it wide. Just ensuring you make it through the door, Miss Steele. He gives me a small smile. Obviously, he's referring to my earlier, less than elegant entry into his office. I blush. That's very considerate, Mr. Gray. I snap, and his smile widens. Oh, I'm glad you find me entertaining, in italics. I glower inwardly, walking into the foyer. I'm surprised when he follows me out. Andrea and Olivia both look up, equally surprised. Did you have a coat? Gray asks. A jacket! Olivia leaps up and retrieves my jacket, which Gray takes from her before she can hand it to me. He holds it up. Feeling ridiculously self-conscious, I shrug it on. Gray places his hands for a moment on my shoulders. I gasp at the contact. That's what a gasp is. That's what she did. Apparently, nobody believes that. If he notices my reaction, he gives nothing away. His long index fingers presses the button summoning the elevator, and we stand waiting, awkwardly on my part, coolly self-possessed on his. The doors open, and I hurry in, desperate to escape. I really need to get out of here. When I turn to look at him, he's gazing at me and leaning against the doorway beside the elevator with one hand on the wall. He really is very, very good looking. It's unnerving. Anastasia. He says as a farewell. Christian, I reply, and mercifully, the door closes. I've been Maz, reading 50 Shades of Grey badly as Christopher Walken. If you want Chapter 2, 200 likes is the cost. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.